lockdown, uh, and what happened, you know very well that a lot of it brought a lot of miseries to the people who migrated from one state to another state. Nearly 150 million people migrated in search of that livelihood. That is one side. And already been another important fact the COVID brought to the economy, to the policy makers in India is that government was forced to go for providing 5 kgs of rice, or 1 kg of dal, or 1 kg of oil in the form of Prime Minister's Karib Kalyan Anna Yojana. I don't want to go to other programs announced by government before COVID period, but one of the important program announced by uh, present government at central level immediately after the COVID period was that uh, providing, ration, or maybe 5 kgs, very limited to each card holder, a small kit with 5 kgs of rice, 1 kg of oil, 1 kg of sugar, dal, something like that. Do you know how many people government announced? How many people registered for getting this? Amount. This small kit provided by the central government. Most of the state government also provided. Kit to the pandemic affected people. But totally central government announced this scheme for 80 crore people. This amount for 80 crore people, 80 crore is supposed to convert the 80 crore into number terms. I'm telling you that in another way. If we say that 800 million people, 75 years of independence over, 30 years of liberalization, privatization policies also been adopted. All these policies are meant to develop the people, create employment opportunities, create social security measures for the people. But one fine morning, one fine night, when the government of India announced lockdown, uh, I mean, uh, all these 800 million people became jobless, incomeless, and they don't know what to do. What to do? That is a condition of India in 2000. April, May. And that point, I always wanted to insist that, and even if we take, even as per the World Bank, the definition, if we take the criteria of $3.10 per day as a criteria for fixing the poverty level, $3.10 per day. Suppose he says the criteria, anybody is getting above the poverty line, or anybody is getting $3.10 per day as below the poverty line. As per the World Bank definition, 26% of Indians are living below the poverty line. 26% of people are living below the poverty line. But even that amount, if you convert in number terms, maybe around 350 or a million or around 400 million population. But actually, the COVID brought another phase to brought another issue to the world economy. That is 880 crore, 800 million people. 800 million people, simply registered for getting 5 kgs of rice, 1 kg of dal. That we cannot imagine. So poverty is becoming a chronic problem in India. We have, in fact, in the second 5-year plan, we gave importance to agriculture sector just to, no, the first 5-year plan we gave importance to agriculture sector, because at that time, in 1951, around 52% of Indians were living below the poverty line. So to feed these people, to provide, to make them, 3 times food, to provide 3 times food, the government of India decided to, give importance to agriculture in the first 5-year plan itself. In fact, we made achievement in the fourth 5-year plan in 1966, 74 period. India made achievement in green revolution, particularly in northern part of India, particularly in the wheat production. And government was, very enormous, sympathetic with the farmers by giving, high yielding varieties of seeds, fertilizer, chemical fertilizer. Now the present budget is talking about, organic manure. Importance should be given to organic manure. Transparency should be there in the agriculture sector. And the present budget, made up clearly pointed out. But at that time, since poverty was quite common among the people, then finance central government gave much importance to chemical fertilizer. Whatever fertilizer available, just we have to produce more. We have to produce more. So high yielding varieties of seeds, fertilizer, pesticide, application of pesticide also. I mean, a lot of, I mean, encourage people, government encourage the people go for, I mean, pesticide, whatever soil management, for by using all the mechanisms, we made green revolution in the fourth fire plan itself. Even 1971, India brought a policy on Karibi Katavo. I mean, chase the poverty away. Chase, I mean, abolish poverty in India. 1970, I'm telling that. In 1975, when Madam Indira Gandhi was there as the Prime Minister of India, she brought a 20-point program. 20-point program. This 20-point program, if you look into all the fire plans, all these 20 points are occupied in major, I mean, areas. All the, I mean, all the 20 points. So all the, I mean, 20 points for first fire plan to Murugan, kindly, I mean, mute yourself. And all the five, if you look at the 20-point programs of 1975, most of these policies programs are almost occupied all the, I mean, fire plans up to, I mean, 12th fire plan. And this is with respect, even the then later on, even the, I mean, 11th fire plan gave much importance to inclusive growth. I mean, you may be knowing very well that, I mean, so India, I mean, right from independence, fighting for poverty, fighting for, I mean, remove poverty from India. But last year, I mean, 2021, I mean, there is, I mean, global hungry index. I mean, a rank, I mean, an international organization, I mean, coming with a global a rank of global hungry index. What about how many people are, I mean, living below the poverty line? How many people, due to what are the reasons, something like that. And the global hungry index placed India at 101st rank, 101st rank out of 116 countries, where poverty is so severe, with the 27.5% score. With the 27.5% score, that global hungry index has stated that India is under severe poverty condition. This is after how many years? After 74 years of independence. But when we get started, I mean, implementing schemes for abolishing poverty, first fire plan itself, I'm telling that, I mean, so then the term poverty is not, I mean, it's not, we are fighting with, within 2 years we found some medicine, and now we are in a comfortable position. Of course, still corona is with us, but within 2 years we found, we tried our level best to invent a new medicine, and now we are fighting, and now the third wave is, I mean, it's not so severe. Within 2 years, I mean, targeted within 2 years of development, I am telling that. But for the 75 years, we are fighting for poverty, and it's not, I mean, it's not going out of our country. Then what is the problem with us? That's why sister told that because of the poverty, 35% of our children are living with malnutrition, and to overcome that malnutrition only, the 2020 education policy clearly stated one aspect here to remove the this type of, malnutrition among the small kids. Hereafter, children should go to school when they are 3 years old. When they are 3 years old, I mean, children, I mean, parents should put their children in the pre-primary school level when children are 3 years old. So government will take care of. Government will provide breakfast, healthy breakfast. Government will provide healthy lunch, and even before go to the school, maybe snacks will be provided. At the evening time. That's what the new education policy clearly stated regarding why government. Government insisted that. Children should go to pre-primary school when they are 3 years because of this. Malnutrition. So last 2020 itself, that the pandemic period itself brought to light that. The Indian economic condition is not in such a way that what we are focusing. Fifth largest before, 2019, 18-19 period and all, India was the fifth largest economy. Only the corona brought down to sixth position. But before that, it was fifth largest economy in the world. Even India was, above the, above England. England, you know very well that around 200 years they ruled India. British was our jamindar for 200 years. Now, before COVID period, India overtook, England, but still now we are within 3 or 4, months or within, end up before this 2022, India will overtake again. India will overtake England because it's a matter of around India's GDP is around 3.25 trillion and England GDP is around 2.49 trillion. That's all. Is the only this much difference is that will overcome shortly by the end of this year. And again, India will become landlord, and our landlord became became second to us. So, one side, what we are telling that India is the largest economy, India is the largest economy in purchase power parity criteria. It is the third largest economy in the world. We are proud of telling all these things to the world economy. But on the other side, what we are telling that malnutrition is there, hunger is quite common, and another above all that, what about employment for our children? What about employment for our children? What about nearly 11.5 million children are coming out of our educational institutions every year. Nearly 11.5 million children. And nearly 1.5 million children are from engineering institutions, engineers. But the result, but what about employment opportunities for 11.5 children? Only 3.5 to 4 million employment opportunities only available for these 11.5 million children. So what is the result? That around 8 million children are unemployed. And every year I'm telling that 8 million children are unemployed or underemployed or working for even with higher qualifications. They're not getting suitable job. They're landed with some unwanted job with 10,000, 5,000, 15,000. We cannot imagine of that one. That is why even there are data revealed that even PhD scholar, I'm telling not only about the technical engineers, even even 2020 data, MHRD has stated that 80% of our engineers are not having required, skills. Required skill. 80% of our engineers are not having required skills. That is why the present, budget has stated that to skill increase, upskill the knowledge, or reskill the knowledge. A portal will be developed. Portal will be developed. Through that portal, their skill will be upgraded. Their skill will be upgraded. One more point, just I want to share with you regarding the 2021 education policy. In 1944, when British was ruling India, they brought a committee because British also took some initiative to make India to become educated country in the world. Since it was their colony. In 13, even the government of India resolution was passed. To make to make 100% provide 100% literacy to the economy. Then Sadler Committee to 1917. Sadler Committee also, report also submitted for making how to make Indian population educated people. India at the time of independent India, we got only 340 million population, and 30. And in 28 period also, and Herta committee also, submitted a report to make India's educated, how to make India's literary country in the world. But 1944, a major change happened in India. Because during that 1944 only, the Sargent Committee was formed. This purpose of the committee, how to make India as a 100% literary state, and this committee submitted a report to the then government, and this committee, put a target that within 40 years, India will be 100% literate state. Because at that time only 10% of Indians were literate state. Only 1% gone for higher education. Within 40 before 1984, India will be. The committee submitted that if we take appropriate measures in the education sector, before 1984, India will be 100% literate state. And that committee only recommended, children, should go to school. Even children, when they are 3 years old, should go to pre-primary school to so that they can have healthy food. And because most of the European countries, estimated that the brain power of the children, small kids, when they are 3 years to 6 years old, the brain power of these children will be much higher level. Nearly 85%, 90% of their brain development is taking during 3 to 6 years age level, so that if we provide a healthy food, I mean nutritious food, I mean their physical development will be there, mental development will be there, they will become healthy, I mean children for India. 1944 itself, the 1944 committee recommendation only, 2020 education policy adopted. Just to keep in mind that 1944 committee recommendation of sending children to pre-primary school has been adopted by 2020 education policy. Now you can understand that how much, how far we behind in adopting certain strategies for making our creating healthy children for India. This point. And one more thing, and the 2020 policy, educational policy has stated that the skill, upskill, I mean reskill, I mean these are all part of vocational training program. It was there in 1944 policy itself. Sarjan committee has stated that children should be, I mean, provided, vocational training in engineering field, whatever maybe, I mean, the engineering mechanism we use in our home, in our offices, whatever it may be, they should have complete knowledge regarding, whether electrical work, electronics work, or plumbing work, or whatever, this type of, casual, related to office or functioning at home level, children should know. Vocational training should be provided to children in 1944 committee as recommended. But later on we ignored that one, and now 2020 national education policy recognized that suggestion. Just to say that we took the policy which had been recommended by 1944 policy to provide vocational training for our children at present. This is point. Then based on this Sarjan committee only, Government of India announced formed University Grant Commission in 1956, and most of the IITs, IIMs are based on this. Only even our higher secondary school, the secondary school, this is the recommendation of this 1944 committee only. But whatever may be, that committee recommendations were not fully adopted. But finally, in 1986. Another committee formed. 1968, another committee formed regarding education. That committee recommended that, to make entire population, Indian population, educated, we have to allot nearly 6% of our GDP for education. Nearly 6% of our GDP for education. That 1968 policy recommended 6% of GDP, and 1986 another policy when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and another policy, education policy came. That policy committee also recommended that 6% of GDP should be allotted for education sector. And in 2005, Knowledge Commission was formed to see, to look into, how the standard of higher education institutions in India, how to upgrade them, how to, enlarge the skill development of the teachers and students, something like that. That committee also found that 70% of Indian, engineering students are not having required skills, or not having enough knowledge in engineering field to be appointed in any of the, engineering colleges or companies. That Knowledge Commission also has stated that. This statement in 2005 itself. And that committee, clearly stated that if you want to provide, more opportunities for higher education, suppose if 50% of students are coming for higher education in India level, then number of universities were not sufficient, and the Knowledge Commission was of the opinion that India is supposed to have 1,500 universities, 1,500 universities, research institutions like IITs, IIMs, state level universities, central level university, whatever it may be. But even now, we have only around 1,013 universities, and for 52,000 colleges in India, and even around 54 central universities, and 23 IITs, 20 IIMs. We have countable numbers. For how many million population? India's population is around 1,340 million. Population. We are playing with 1,000 universities, but for in America, just for 332 million population, America has around 4,000 universities. Just for kind information only. And because of lack of educational institutions in India, lack of educational quality educations in India, our children are going to America and European countries and Singapore, Australia, something like that, for getting this type of technical oriented to study nursing, to study, engineering, technology, science areas. And for that, nearly 7.7 lakh students, in fact, 7 lakhs and 70,000 students, even year for last year, migrated to different parts of the world for getting quality education. We have 23 IITs, but their share in providing quality education in India is, less than 3%. Less than 3%. The remaining students are not getting quality education in India. They're going abroad for getting, good quality education. And not only they are going abroad for getting education, they are taking around 28 billions of rupees, 28 billion US dollars as a fees, as a travel cost, as pocket money, or whatever may be, their expenses related to their education. So they are taking very huge amount of money to foreign countries. Now, to stop that practice only, the present government has decided that we have to have a, technology university. We have technology institute. The madam, sister already pointed out that with all the which will collaborate with most of the, well-known universities at global level, and it will be a hub. The technology university will be, the digital university will be a hub for, enlarging knowledge of our students, like our IGNO. Now IGNO is there under the, at the central level. IGNO is providing, correspondence courses, quality in correspondence programs for the children who wanted to take degrees, or even those who discontinued their programs earlier. Now they can join, they can study, they can join the IGNO program. And so it became a, hub for, quality, hub for children from different states. And now the present government has an initiative like that. That is why the technology university will be set up by the central government. And in addition to that one, even the central, the budget has stated that 5 more, institutions will be identified. 5 more institutions will be identified at a different country level, and they will be provided 250, uh, 250,000, rupees, as 250 crores, 250 crores each institution. To upgrade these institutions, they will, they will submit, they will assist, they will prepare plan for how to make, how to scientifically develop our urban areas, how to scientifically transport our infrastructure development, how to scientifically, go for solid waste management, all these providing you. So these 5 research institutions, the institutions are not identified so far, but they will identify shortly this year, and they will provide around 250 crores to each institution, and this institution will play as a major center for urban planning. Urban planning, yes, the government of India is thinking that by the time, 2000, 2050, nearly 50% of our people will be in the urban areas. Completely to 50% of India's total population will be, settled in urban areas. So, how to accommodate, this much percentage of people in urban areas, they have decided to have this 5, research. They decided to have world-class infrastructure and facilities in urban areas with respect to drinking water, with respect to solid waste management, transport facilities, with garden, everything. That also there in this budget. And another important thing is that, as I told, that the the children, who are 3 to 6 years, supposed to go to school, and again, and that sister already pointed out that, there what the present budget has stated, that we are not only going to provide food and vegetables or books or something like that. All these Anganwadis, nearly 2 lakh Anganwadis, the 2 lakh Anganwadis will be upgraded into high-tech, classrooms, the Anganwadis. As that's what told, the knowledge development of the children from 3 years to 6 years will be much higher level. To upgrade their knowledge is what all these Anganwadis will be upgraded into, skilled oriented, smart classrooms, TV, audio, video, visual, whatever, modern mobile or laptop, computer, whatever, modern, ultra modern teaching, systems are available. That these Anganwadis will get it. madam already pointed out that 2 lakh, maybe in future it will be increased according to the, I mean, number of requirements. But at this current budget, I mean, not only, I mean, 2 lakh Anganwadis will be identified, and they will provide, I mean, ultra, I mean, modern, I mean, quality education to the children who are supposed to be 3 years to 6 years. I mean, this very important policy matter. I mean, and the sister already pointed one classroom, one TV. One classroom, one TV. I mean, last, I mean, 2 years, I mean, children from tribal areas, children from rural areas, children from, I mean, backward areas, I mean, children from this type, they had a lot of issues with, and suddenly government announced, I mean, lockdown, and announced, I mean, online programs. I mean, children from rural areas, particularly from downtown communities, I mean, they had they had no, I mean, idea about what is internet, what is, I mean, mobile phone, how to engage, how to, I mean, participate classes, and where to participate classes. Something, so many issues came at the time. So many of the children lost their classes. I mean, handled by teachers at a school level, even to a large extent at plus two, up to plus two level. So what government decided that the children who lost their classes, I mean, for the last 2 years, will be provided supplementary classes through the as that's what sister told, that, I mean, one classroom, one TV. Then now that will be increased to 12 channels to nearly 200 channels. I mean, it's a welcome development as part of digitalization of the education system and something like that. I mean, this is one side. And why I'm telling all these things, India understood only the COVID brought the real condition of Indian economy. I mean, in 2020, because before that, we used to say that, I mean, we are number one producer of milk, we are number two producer of vegetables, we are, our GDP was like that, we are the fifth largest economy, third largest economy. We used to be proud of telling so many things. In the World Bank also used to tell that India is going to overtake France within 5 years. India is going to overtake German within 5 years, another England, another, I mean, Japan 5 years. Then 2050, India will overtake, I mean, US economy. That also very important. The World Bank has, I mean, already estimated that 2050, India will overtake India's GDP now around, I mean, 3.25 trillion US dollar, and US dollar GDP is around 24.5 trillion. By the time 2050, these amounts will be much higher level. But any whatever may be, with, I mean, this higher GDP growth rate, now we are estimated 9.2% GDP growth rate we are anticipating. So by the time 2050, our GDP will be much higher than American economy. I'm telling only about the GDP, not about the economy, overall economy. That's what, I mean, up to last year, up to COVID period, everybody was under the impression that 2050 India will be the second richest economy, and China will be China by the 2033-37, somewhere World Bank already estimated that 2033-37, China will overtake US economy, and China will be a powerful economy up to 2037, and by the time 2050, India will overtake, and India will be the second powerful economy in the world. Such a powerful economy in 2000, I mean, 50, India will powerful economy. But recently, one more, the January, I think January month, another report came. Such a powerful economy, and it has one more, I mean, drawback. What is that? Recently, there was a report, I mean, global inequality report. There is a global inequality report. The global inequality report has stated that about India only, I'm telling that. I'm not telling about other countries, about India. The global inequality report has stated that in India, 1% of Indians, 1% of Indians taking nearly 22% of GDP. 1% of Indians are taking 22% of GDP, and 10% of the people are taking nearly 57% of GDP. See, GDP means this our GDP three point, I mean, 25 trillion worth of our US dollars worth of our GDP. This is how people are sharing, and 1% taking, I mean, 22% of GDP. 1% of India's total population. 10% of the people are taking nearly 57% of GDP, and that inequality report has stated one more, I mean, issue. It has stated that nearly 50 the people at the bottom level, nearly 50% of people at the bottom level getting only 13% of GDP. The 50% of the people who are at the bottom level getting only 13% of the GDP. 13% of GDP. This is a global, I mean, inequality index. I mean, one side, what we are telling that India will be the sixth largest. India is the sixth largest economy in the world, and another side, and whom, I mean, this money goes. Who are these people? I mean, whether equal distribution is there. I mean, that's for your kind information. And last year, one more report just I want to share with you. That is the report published by Dubai government. I mean, Dubai government has stated that Dubai, I mean, government has brought a list of, I mean, investors in Dubai real estate business. Dubai real estate business. In that real estate business, it prepare a rank which country, I mean, from other than Dubai, invested more in real estate business in Dubai, and it ranked country, which country invested more in real estate, which country second, which country third, something like that. And the Dubai government at that rank list has stated that Indians are number one real estate investors in Dubai real estate business. Indians are number one investors in Dubai real estate business. That means India is not, I mean, as far as the world economy is concerned, as far as Dubai is concerned, if this many people are going, even the Dubai Arabs are second to, I mean, Indians in the real estate business. What we are telling to the world that Indians are, I mean, having sufficient amount of money and they are ready to invest their money anywhere in the world. I mean, that type of impression we are creating. But the same country only, 50% of Indians are sharing only 13% of GDP. And even all this brought out by, I mean, the COVID economy. The COVID, I mean, COVID brought a lot of, I mean, miseries to the, I mean, world economy and also Indian economy. But one more aspect, now our policymakers realized that even one day job loss, if our people, particularly those who are in the unorganized sector, like I mean, construction sector or agriculture sector or any other, I mean, hospitality sector or this type of, I mean, unorganized sector, if workers are not, if one day work is not there, means the next day they have to go for, I mean, I mean, without food. This is the condition. This is the, I mean, that, but nobody knows about that. But the COVID brought that condition to the policymakers. Now, government of India realized that hereafter, I mean, even meanwhile, you may be knowing that very well that the government of India introduced, I mean, Jan Dhan Yojana program. I mean, transfer. I mean, government took a lot of initiatives. I mean, to make transparent way of transferring money, central money, state government money to the, I mean, poor people in India, and even Jan Dhan account. I mean, nearly 450 million people opened Jan Dhan bank accounts. The people who are under microfinance or, I mean, this type of, I mean, self-help groups or Kudumba Stri program and all, they are getting, I mean, financial support through this type of program. And the thing is that, but this type of, I mean, programs coming under, I mean, inclusive, I mean, development program. And the thing is that, so in the unorganized sector, I mean, people are working in the unorganized sector. I mean, they're highly been in a vulnerable condition, and I mean, job security is not there. I mean, pension benefit is not there. I mean, disability benefit is not there. Injury benefit is not there. Insurance benefit is not there. Gratuity benefit is not there. They're working under a contract basis or daily wage basis, casual basis, and and these are all, I mean, been created a lot of problem. I mean, to the, I mean, people who are working in the unorganized sector. And so government did a lot. I mean, both, I mean, central government as well as state governments did a lot to feed them for the last, I mean, maybe knowing that first pandemic period, most of the governments struggled to, I mean, feed them. I mean, food, I mean, whatever things, I mean, needed for them. But one thing, I mean, government realized that our fifth largest position, are our 3 trillion, are going to be $5 trillion dollar economy, will not solve these people's problem. Will not solve these people's problem. So they wanted to have a, just, I mean, find a solution for this problem. Government of India decided to find final solution. That's what I mean. I mean climate action. That's what I mean. People used to say that it's a climate action. What is the action? 75 years over. I mean, and 80 million people are living below the poverty line, climbing, standing in front of a ration shop, and this should not happen in the future. That is why most of the people, economists and policymakers, used to tell that government did not announce any money transfer to the poor people. So far, we transferred money. So far, in the form of MNRG program, the form of Jantan account holders, in the form of widow, pension, in the form of old age pension, something. So many schemes, government of India, both central states implemented, but still, their economic condition is not improved. Still, they're the same level. So finally, government of India decided to find a final solution for all these issues. That is why in May 13, Prime Minister Modi ji announced a package program known as Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat. In that Atmanirbhar Bharat, he has clearly stated that the Atmanirbhar Bharat is based on 5 pillars. The Atmanirbhar Bharat is based on 5 pillars: economy, infrastructure, technology-driven system, and vibrant demography, then demand. These are the 5 pillars of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Based on these 5 pillars, they wanted to take, Prime Minister of Government of India wanted to take our economy to the next level of development. This is
Hello, sir. Hello, sister.
வருண்டு. சரி. Sorry, sorry for the disturbance. Our power went off, and so net also, went off. So, and that these based on these 5 pillars, Government of India wanted to take our economy to the next level of development. So by the time 2021, when Madam presenting her, but last year I'm telling you, last year Madam presenting her budget, she brought another 6 pillars of in addition to the 5 pillars announced by the Government of India, and Madam brought 6 more pillars. 6 more pillars. Atmanirbhar Bharat, in associated with the 5 pillars already announced by the Modi. Modi ji, while in 2020 May 13. The 6 pillars are: one is health and well-being. And the second one is physical, financial capital and infrastructure. Then inclusive growth for inclusive growth for reinvigorating. Inclusive growth. Then third one is reinvigorating human capital. Inclusive growth for inclusive growth and reinvigorating human capital. Then innovation and research and development. And the sixth one is maximum governance, minimum government. That's these are the 6 pillars made up while presenting her budget last year. So along with the Atmanirbhar Bharat program announced with Modi, and she also incorporate this one. And based on these, I mean, 5 pillars and 6 pillars, and this budget been prepared. This budget been prepared. I mean, what is that? So based on these 2 pillars, now you look at issues one by. Let us look at one by one. And what is one of the important aspect of this budget is that nearly 35% of capital expenditure on infrastructure development. Infrastructure development. They have already in the paper newspapers. They already stated that 7 engine of growth. 7 engines of growth. Our economy is our infrastructure development is based on 7 major items: road development, railway development, port development, airport development, waterways development. Then I mean, and then I mean, a massive transport system. I mean, then I mean, what I can say that I mean a terminal system. I mean. What logistics. These are the 7 areas being identified, and to develop these areas. Now, government of India, I mean, came with a plan of uh, increasing 35% of capital expenditure on this infrastructure sector, and also in addition to infrastructure sector, government have also, I mean, laid more hope on medium and small scale MSME, medium, small, micro, medium, and small scale industries. And what government has stated that as per the budget proposals on, I mean, infrastructure development or heavy investment on capital, I mean, expenditure. What government stated that if within 3 years, nearly the amount for this investment is though 35%. I mean, in case I'm telling that, but the amount is 7.5 lakh crores. 34. 7.5 lakh crore has been earmarked for this type of infrastructure development. And what this, I mean, what government of India is expecting that this very huge amount of investment on infrastructure development of roads, railway development, port development, airport development, and terminal 100. I mean, terminals will be identified. Uh, I mean, I get not 100 terminals. I mean, connect a multi terminal system. For example, if you go to, I mean, some European countries, railway line will be there. I mean, metro station, then airport, then certain cases even port also will be connected, very maybe very near to that one. So highways, port and airport. These are all very much connected with one another. But in our case, generally, I mean, we never, I mean, we though, I mean, we never think like that. For example, I can tell you that in Cochin, we have one metro, I mean, running from Alva to, I mean, Peta something. But the metro, I mean, stopped somewhere in Alva. I mean, the railway station is somewhere, bus stand is somewhere, but somewhere, I mean, without any connection of this type of, I mean, transport system, metro has a terminal. But what, I mean, the new, I mean, budget has stated that all these things will be connected. Railway line, metro, I mean, bus stand, national highway, everything will be, I mean, connected with one another, connected with one another. A I mean, multi-dimensional, facility. I mean, terminals will be, I mean, created by spending very huge amount of money for that one. We need world-class infrastructure development. I mean, no doubt about what government has stated that this type of heavy investment will create nearly 60 lakh employment opportunities. Nearly 60 lakh, I mean, employment opportunities, 6 million employment opportunities for our children. As I already told that within 3 years, India, the heavy investment on infrastructure development will create 7.5 lakh crores investment will create nearly, I mean, 6 lakh employment opportunities, 60 lakh employment opportunities for our unemployed children. I mean, well and good. That is why everybody is appreciating. Why I'm telling, why is we have to appreciate this budget is that this type of, I mean, heavy investment will create a regular income for the people. I mean, for engineers, they will get regular income, monthly income, not on the basis of contract. not on the basis of, I mean, contracts. Regular income will be created for next 3 years or 4 years, maybe 5 years. I mean, our engineers will get employment opportunities, our graduates will get employment opportunities on regular basis, uh, a regular income for next 5 years. And it's that type of investment will create this type of, why I'm telling, generally I used to say that India has to go for massive investment on 8 lane highways, bullet train program from Trivandrum to Kashmir, I mean Srinagar, or if you're from Manipur, Mizoram, in north to, I mean, Salimar in Rajasthan, connect all the bullet train program with state capitals. That type of, that one scheme will create a lot of employment opportunities. And similarly, 8 lane highways also we have to have from Trivandrum to Srinagar, and from, I mean, Mizoram, Manipur to, I mean, Salimar in the west, and to connect all the 8 lane highways with all the state capitals. We have to have massive transport system in India. Why I'm telling that, this type of massive transport system require a lot of cement, a lot of steel, a lot of iron, a lot of plastic items, a lot of electronics goods items, a lot of stone items also, quarry items, and sand items. So what I'm telling that, so if this type of heavy investment will activate all these industries, and once these industries are activated, automatically that will create a lot of employment opportunities. That's what we generally used to say earlier, but now madam realized that one. Okay, hereafter giving, I mean, kit to the, I mean, poor people, and transfer money to the poor people is of no use. Let us create employment opportunities, maybe higher level. I mean, higher level means, I mean, monthly income level, so that I mean, they themselves, I mean, will get the purchasing. That's why I told that the fifth pillar of, I mean, North Nirvar Bharat is demand. Demand is not there. People are not getting job opportunities. People are not getting income opportunities. People are not, if no job is available, no income is available, automatically that will affect their, I mean, purchasing power. That automatically, I mean, it will affect the overall demand. Overall demand. That's what I mean. To overcome that one, government of India earmarked very huge amount of money for this. So that's one of the important aspect of this budget. And another important aspect is that nearly 80 lakh houses will be constructed under Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. 80 lakh houses. It's also very important. I mean, boom for real estate business. 80 lakh, 8 million. I mean, houses will be constructed under Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana account, and that is this type of housing real estate development also require a lot of cement, a lot of steel, a lot of iron, a lot of, I mean, all necessary items which is needed for real estate, I mean, business. Then automatically that will boost the, I mean, all these industries. Then automatically income generation will be there, employment generation will be there, all reactivation will be there. And at that point, I mean, for your kind information only. And one more aspect is that I mean, with respect to defense sector, I mean, hereafter, so far, generally we used to purchase, I mean, most of the, I mean, defense items we used to buy from German, or particularly Soviet Union, Russia. Generally we used to France, generally we used to go. Now, the present budget, Madam has stated that for hereafter, 68% of our defense, I mean, defense items, whether tractor, gun, or any machinery items, or what are needed for defense, arms and ammunition, and should be manufactured within India, produced within India under self Arunachalam Bharat program, and that will be fulfilled by private people, academicians, and startup programs. Around the government of India estimated that around 65,000, I mean, startup programs are, I mean, functioning in India. And well, now what government is expecting that 60, that will boost the, I mean, our manufacturing sector. That will boost our manufacturing sector, because if 68% of our arms and ammunition requirements of defense is, produced within India itself. That means we have allotted 5.25 lakh crores for defense sector, and definitely very huge amount of money will be spent for step of, I mean, purchasing items. That money will be circulated within India itself. That money will be again will be circulated within India. That also will create more employment opportunities. I mean, that point, I mean, very important. And one more aspect is that even the budget has stated that, I mean, 25% of our defense budget will be earmarked for research programs in collaboration with the individuals, private people, and startup program people, and also, I mean, academic institutions. 25% of the money of budget for defense will be earmarked for research and development purpose. Research program that will be handled by Indian private people, Indian startup program people, and Indian academicians. This is one of the excellent, I mean, idea. I mean, suggested by, I mean, Madam, in our budget. One more point we have to keep in mind that if more research, if this take out 25% of our defense budget more earmarked for research programs, that will create world class lab facilities in India. Because for example, I can tell you, when China opened its economy for foreign direct investment, and in 1979, in fact, in the name of Special Economic Program, at present, China is allotting nearly 2.11% of their GDP for, I mean, research purpose, higher education research purpose. I mean, China is allotting nearly 2.11% for research and innovation purpose. But India allotted only 0.8%. I can tell you, 1% increase in this budget, earlier only 0.7%. So 0.8% of our budget only earmarked for research and development at higher education level. Suppose if we spend more money, for South Korea is spending nearly 4.3%. America directly, indirectly, they spend a very huge amount of money for research and development purpose in America. But China is spending around 2.11%. Suppose because China is spending more money on research and development purposes, their innovations, their, I mean, new, I mean, productivity related, I mean, innovations, production related innovations, or minimization of cost innovations, maximization of production innovations. All these innovation technology has been adopted by the industrial units in China. Those when they adopt this type of new innovations, it create cost reduction and also more production, more productivity. And China exported more item to the world market. Say production increases, productivity increases, they exported more, that product to the world market. So after exporting more product to the world market, they started earning more foreign exchange reserve. They started earning more foreign exchange reserve. I mean, so that is why China, 45% of GDP in China is coming from their manufacturing sector. 45% of China's, I mean, GDP is coming from manufacturing sector. Because that much, the research and innovations help the manufacturing sector to adopt cost reduction techniques. But in India, the manufacturing sector contributes only 15% of our GDP. Only 15% of our GDP, because since we allot less money for, research and innovation purposes. And why I'm telling that, research, since we allot less amount for research innovation purposes, it reflects we are not able to, go for more, innovative research programs in a way. Some high level research institution like IITs, IIC Bangalore, what they are doing. And to avoid that deficit in the budget, research budget, because one of the important aspect of the, research pillar of, last budget, Nirmala Sitharamanji, was the innovation and research and development. Because of that one, Madam earmarked, 25% of defense budget for research and development. That should be in collaboration with, private people also. Private people also, allowed to go for research purpose. Overall, in India, the private investment on research is only 35%. Private investment on research programs in India, I'm telling that. But if you go to, Japan, if you go to even China, overall, I'm telling private people investment. If you go to, or even Japan, it is 70%. The private investment on research and innovation, methods. In Japan, it's around 70%. And that reflected in the industrial sector, that created more employment opportunities. More, income opportunities for the people. Considering those, the development aspects of, those countries. Now, now I hope that academicians. So far, generally we used to apply for getting fund from UGC or ICCs are doing projects. Hereafter, I think defense sector also, will go for innovating proposals. According to their requirements, they will announce, set up lab facilities. In future, more lab will be created in India. That's what we are expecting, and then that is with respect to this this infrastructure sector. And another important sector is that generally we expected a bulletin announcement. For unfortunately, Madam announced only the type of 400. One day Bharat train will be introduced. A speed train. Of course, but only, that is not, sufficient for us. Considering the total number of people traveling in India, considering the middle class population in India, considering the cost of, travel by airplane, I mean, and considering the very large amount of time we spend in the train, we have to have separate track for taking the people from different places to the country's capital. That is why we used to say that we should have a bullet train program. We should have separate track program. But this the Vande Mataram train will be introduced, but it will be on the same track only. Again, the traffic will be there. Again, the track may not be, may not be sufficient or may not be, quality one to stand with this type of speed. There will be so many other problems will be there. So that is with, this sector, this sector. And now, Madam brought one more important aspect is that Special Economic Zone Act will be, I mean, and, government will bring another act suitable to, like, Special Economic Zone Act. In fact, in the year 2000, five. Uh, one more point just I would like to share with you. The Special Economic Zone program is an industrialization program, and brought by the government of India in 2005. In fact, in 1948, government of India brought on industrial policy restoration, and in 56 also government of India brought industrial policy restoration, 1977 industrial policy statement, 1980 industrial policy statement, 1991 completely we opened our economy for foreign direct investment, license free, license free, so control free, so many, uh, but still, India was not, industrialized in such a way what we expected. In 2005, government of India introduced a special economic zone program to industrialize the country. In fact, it's an industrialization program. It has five targets. In the special economic zone program has five targets like, attractive foreign direct investment, and investment will be there on industrial sector. Then, that investment will create employment opportunities. Employment effect will be there. Then, once employment opportunities are created, then the people will get income. Then income effect will be there. Then, if more investment means production will be there. Then production productivity, the production effect will be there. When we take the surplus product to the world market, then we will get, our export will be increased. When we export more, that export will bring a lot of foreign exchange to the country. So it has, nearly five targets as Special Economic Zone program. In 2005, government of India introduced that program. As part of, policy program. But unfortunately, 2006 there was a widespread protest against that program by present Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee. Even the left government people, Mamata Banerjee, the left government people, Aruna Rai, Medha Patkar, and this type of Chris Karnal, this type of people, and so many, form, organizations protest against that program. Finally, government withdrawn that, scheme. Government not withdrawn the scheme. Government withdrawn its responsibility of, acquiring land for the industrialization program in 2006. And now, Madam made clear that now, the government will join. The government will join the way, the ISS Act will be, amended in such a way that government will be part of that program. That is why many times I used to suggest is that, uh, I mean, uh, for attract more foreign direct investment, I mean, to avoid litigations, to avoid court cases, in this type of investment program, foreign direct investment programs, MNCs program, government has to allot about 5% of forest land for a special economic program. 5% forest land. We have enough forest land in India. Nearly 24.5% land in India is under forest cover only. Out of this only just 5% of land can be allotted for this special economic program. So automatically that will affect, I mean, foreign direct investment. That will affect, that will create, bring foreign direct investment, and more employment opportunities will be created, more income opportunities will be created. Then, I mean, so automatically the demand constraint, for fifth pillar of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the demand is a major problem for India. Because why no demand? Because people have no job, people have no income. Now to create the demand, I mean, aspect. Now government of India, I mean, decided to, I mean, reform, I mean, relook into that, I mean, SIS Act. Definitely, I mean, what we suggested earlier, I mean, 5% of forest lands to be earmarked for this type of program. I mean, the government will do it. I mean, I hope that government will involve and to that's why they told the all India registration. Now that's one important aspect of the budget is that all India registration. Anywhere you can register your land. Anywhere you can. So one land, one registration. One country, one registration. And that is one of the aspect of this budget. And I hope that I mean, industrialists or MNCs or multinational companies, corporations, if they want to start a business in India, if they want industries in India, they can register anywhere and they can start the business in the place which is allotted by the allotted by the concerned state governments. I mean that. I mean by the. I mean is that aspect is there in the budget. And another important budget proposal is that, I mean, modernization, mechanization. So far, I mean, I keep on telling that for the last 7 to 3 years we are telling that, I mean, we have to upgrade the farming sector, we have to go for mechanized farm sector, we have to, but only in this budget, and Madam clearly stated that, technology, whatever technology, I mean, whatever may be the technology, we will adopt. I mean, whether organic form of, I mean, manure or even rural road facilities. I mean storage facilities, marketing facilities. I mean, integrating the small farmers. Even Neighbor Western also, when Modi ji was there in Hyderabad, he stated that. Our small farmers, nearly 80% of farmers are very small farmers in India. They should join together. They should join together in the form of cooperative farming or in the form of, contact farming, something like that. They have to, they have to go for, they have to go for, they have to join in such a way that, they will not be exploited by middlemen. I mean, out of the functioning out of the agriculture sector, farmers should be provided an opportunity to produce, not only produce, also, take sell their product wherever possible and whatever, according to the cost of conditions, something like that. Prime Minister Dev Restorative has stated that, but it was related to agriculture. It was there. I mean, drone system will be introduced. That also part of that to increase the farmland. And already, central government announced linkage of 5 rivers. I mean, Ganga to, Tapti and Tapti to Narmada, and Godavari to Krishna, Krishna to Kaveri. This type of 5 rivers. I mean, this is the first time I'm telling you. So far, earlier only proposals made based on, many committees. All these committees, only proposed. You do this or you do this and something. But here, Madam came with the final, decision, and it is a decision of the government. All these rivers will be linked, because that will increase the amount of acres under paddy cultivation. Maybe this water, linkage of waters from one river to another river, can be used for water transport. That's why the seven engine of growth. Clearly pointed out that the water transport, because if these rivers are linked, water transport, will be ensured. that will create, again, as I told, that like our mass investment on other infrastructure development, these projects also need a lot of cement, a lot of steel, lot of, this type of stone. So all these industries will be, all these industries will be activated. All these industries will be activated. More, that will create more employment opportunities. Simple example, I can tell you that by spending 7.5 lakh crores on infrastructure development, government has estimated that we can create around 80 lakh employment opportunities with the 7.5 lakh crores investment only. I'm telling that. Suppose this amount is doubled. So just imagine that the amount is doubled, then around, 6 to another 6 million, 60 to another 60, 60 lakh to another 60 lakh. 120 lakh employment opportunity will be created. That is why government is giving, at present, giving much importance to private people. Not only government role also there, and private people also should play a role. To as far as this infrastructural development is concerned, and again, suppose that's what we are expecting. If the amount is for, 7.5 lakh crore for, port development, other infrastructure development. Now, even the river linking project also required a lot of, cement, steel, and other items. So again, that will create employment opportunity for children. Another, but still, certain things are not clear. That the casualization of the labor. Our labor, our market being casualized. That is why people are behind government jobs. Why people are behind the government jobs? Because in the private sector, whatever may be, whether it is managed by Tata or Birla or MNCs, there's no salary structure for government employees. Whatever may be the job, from peon to, office assistant, assistant to section officer to, top level officer. We have salary structure, and this is the basic. This is the DA. This is, something like that. But as far as other than governmental sector, that structure is not there. So what we are expecting, what we expected from the government is that a salary structure should be provided, created in the unorganized sector. If we create like that, automatically a minimum wage will be ensured, minimum salary will be ensured. Then automatically this type of pandemic situations like close down, lockdown, that will not affect, because during the lockdown period, from March, 2020 onwards, only the people who worked in the unorganized sector affected. Maybe their number may be around 400 million as per the government. Record, I'm telling that. But no, none of the government employees affected. None of the government servants affected, because they have regular income. What are maybe? Amount is whether 50,000 or 1 lakh, whatever it may be, their income is not affected, so they are in a comfort zone. But we have more population, nearly 92% of our total total labor market is in the unorganized sector. They don't have that structure. Wage structure is not there, wage protection is not there, and guarantee is not there. So that should be, ensured. I'm telling that. And if that is ensured, automatically their employment will be guaranteed, their income will be guaranteed. Other benefit, or injury benefit, or pension benefit, disability benefits, or insurance benefit, graduate, whatever may be, leave with salary, whatever it may be, all benefit will be ensured, should be ensured in the private sector, whether computer, IT sector, or other engineering sector, run by Tata, Birla, whatever may be the company, something. A salary structure should be ensured. Then, if we ensure like that, then automatically the purchasing power of the people will be ensured. That is why the demand, how we can create a demand by giving, 200, 200 rupees, 250 rupees to MNRJ workers will not create a much demand, will not create any impact in the car manufacturing sector, or consumer manufacturing sector, or consumer durable sector, something like that. We have to create, purchasing power among the educated people, among the middle class population, and to reactivate the economy, to reactivate automatically. If more, like that, if 6 million job is created under, with 7.5 lakh crore investment in the infrastructure sector, let us increase the amount to, double the amount. so that 120, 12 million employment opportunities will be created. Then automatically all these 120 million children will go for purchasing, cars, purchasing two-wheelers, purchasing constructing houses, automatically that will boost the real estate business along with 8 lakh, houses already proposed under Mahatma Prime Minister's Awas Yojana program. And this way, we can overcome, whatever hurdles we have. That's what I feel regarding this budget. And um, as I told that I am not going to present the budget which is already been presented to Madam Ji. I, and what from an economics point of view, what is needed for your country, and what should be done for the country to why I'm telling. Earlier also I used to tell that we have to go for massive investment and infrastructure development during the Second World War period. In fact, the Hitler forces destroyed most of the bridges, roads, buildings, scientific institution, infrastructure facilities in European, Western European countries. And you know very well that most of the ports were also bombed by Hitler forces and destroyed. And to rebuild all this infrastructure development, the government then in the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement wanted to have one organization known as World Bank, International Bank for Reconstruction Development, and that World Bank provided a long-term financial support to these countries to go for massive investment on infrastructure development. In fact, the Western European countries used this long-term financial support given by World Bank to reconstruct to their bridges, roads, and their scientific establishments, churches, everything, whatever destroyed by the Hitler forces. That created a lot of employment opportunities. That created the investment on heavy investment on at that time created a lot of employment opportunities. But at that time, none of the European countries bothered about the fiscal deficit. Now, one of the important aspect of this, every time, every budget we are telling that the fiscal deficit should be reduced, fiscal deficit should be reduced. But for in a country like India, the fiscal deficit is a limit. We cannot simply bring down to 3%. Yes, we have people with poverty. We have road. We have we have state villages without roads. We have places without bridges. We have, still we have all the infrastructural bottlenecks. To overcome all these things, we have to go for more investment. Forget about fiscal deficit, whether 6.4%, whether 8.4%. Even 1990 we got 8.4% fiscal deficit in India. Why I'm telling that? We should not follow America. America has less fiscal deficit, so we have to go for like that. It's not like that. America has all the infrastructure facilities, advanced infrastructure facilities, high tech developed developed facilities. But we have people with poverty, we have people without houses, we have inequality problems, we have rural urban gap problems. To overcome all these things, we have to go for massive investment, and for that only government decided to decided to have private people also should be part of our program. And I hope that in future, the MNCs also will come to India, and they also will be part of our program in creating industrial infrastructure for our people. And I always feel that why our environmentalists always telling about our environmental problems, ecological problems, something like that. But uh, just I would not understand whether our environmentalists, our ecologists, whether they know anything about what type of development is taking place in Dubai. Dubai, the government simply filled the ocean, and they constructed hotels, restaurants, shopping complexes, something like that. Even countries like even Indonesia, in Bali Island, they, entire coastal areas become world class large hotel, restaurant places, five-star hotel facilities. And I don't know why in India, whenever development programs are coming for the coastal area development, river, development, we always in front, protecting farmers, protecting the name of protecting this and that. it's not good for our, I mean, most of the cases are landed in the courts, I mean, litigations, something like that. These are things just I want to, I mean, share with you. And I did not touch all the, I mean, aspects of the budget. Yes, I mean, I touched only the major points, I mean, related to, I mean, this area. And just finally, what I can say that, I mean, Madam already, I mean, stated that this is not for, I mean, tomorrow or day after tomorrow. This is the, I mean, this is the right time. I mean, 75 years India wasted. 75 years India wasted. Not wasted, not for, I mean, wasted for poor people only. The poor people did not get opportunities. The poor people did not get, I mean, income opportunities. The poor people did not get employment opportunities, educational opportunities. That also I can tell that. At the same time, I mean, India is a rich country. You may be knowing that some of the people are in the, rich people's millionaires list, and and but India is not for them alone. India is for everybody. India is for the people. 50% people are sharing only 13% of the GDP. That from that itself, the 50% of people, I mean, and their life, their livelihood should be ensured. And for that, Madam took a right decision of, having laid a strong foundation after 75 years. A strong foundation being laid after 75 years of India's independence, to make or provide, I mean, world class, I mean, not only employment opportunities, even income opportunities for the people at the bottom level within 25 years. Within 25 years, by the time when we reach 100th year, there should not be any unemployment in India, there should not be any poverty in India, there should not be any inequality in India. Can you hear me, sister?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, we should not have any of this type of hurdles, whatever, I mean, we are facing at present. And for that, a stone being laid at present, a strong stone. And here, I mean, I used to read in the newspapers, I mean, no money being given, transfer, no money. We should, as I often used to say that now, after 75 years of independence, and now only government realized that it is no, by transferring money to the poor people will not help them to enrich themselves to come out of poverty. Instead of, I mean, giving them fish every day, you teach them how to catch fish. Instead of giving them a fish every day, I mean, you teach them how to catch a fish. That will solve their basic and their livelihood problem. Now, I mean, Modi government took an initiative in such a way that laid a foundation for, employment opportunities, and laid a foundation for income opportunities for our, I mean, our educated children. As I already told that every year nearly 11.5 million children are coming out of our institutions in search of job markets. And even one important aspect, just for to share with you, nearly in 2018-19, India produced around 40,833 PhD scholars in India. PhD scholars in India, and only 15,000 got employment opportunities. Only 15,000 got employment opportunities. The remaining students, I mean, not only getting employment opportunities, some of them, I mean, submitted their application for a peon post, a sweeper post, even military service, MNRJ work. I mean, just, I mean, we cannot imagine what type, to what direction we are moving. Going to be fifth, I mean, trillion economy, keeping very large amount of, I mean, children with highly qualified, I mean, degrees. I mean, landed in this type of, I mean, unqualified, I mean, jobs is not a welcome development as far as India's status is concerned. And one more point is that nearly 2007, same period only, India produced 6,000 science graduates, science, I mean, PhDs, 6,000 India science PhD, graduates. Out of 6,000, only 2,000 got employment opportunities. The remaining are unemployed. This is with respect to science area. I'm telling that. Then you just imagine what would be the situation of children who are taking degrees in arts and science. I mean, areas, social science areas. Definitely, I mean, students are not getting, I mean, employment opportunities, are are they're not, if they get employment opportunities, the unorganized sector with less, I mean wage, just to meet their day-to-day expenses. That's all. I mean, to overcome all these things only, this budget, wanted to address all things, but not within 1 or 2 years. Madam already told that it is a 25-year program, Amrit Kaal. It's the right time. This is the right time. We have to wake up. This is the right time. We have to wake up. It is, we have to. Otherwise, we cannot compete with our neighboring countries. We cannot, take our economy to the next level of development. Just finally, I'm coming to the point that in 1979, China opened its borders for foreign direct investment. Before that, China was considered as an inefficient economy, highly centralized economy, and it's not open economy. So many criticisms China faced before 1979. But after Mao's death, China opened its borders for foreign direct investment. 79 it opened. 1997 China become what I can say that a comfortable economy. In 1997, China above the poverty line economy. In 2010, China, middle level economy. In 2017, World Bank declared that China is a rich economy in the world. Rich economy in the world. Just a matter of 10 years difference between 11 years difference between our opening of our Indian economy and they opening. In 79, China opened its borders. 91, we opened our borders for foreign direct investment. And within those period, how much achievements China made for the last this 41 years. We cannot imagine. China's foreign direct invest, China's foreign exchange reserve alone more than India's GDP. India's GDP is around 3.25 trillion, but China's foreign exchange reserve is more than 3 around 3.5 trillion, more than India's GDP. Now, China, you just if you have time, just visit. Just go to YouTube and see what type of infrastructure development China created for their people. Road means road for everybody, for not only for four wheelers, not only for two wheelers, not by even for by cycle riders, even for pedestrians. They have created world class roads. But in India, we are telling about four-lane highways from Golden Quadrant Triangle. Only four wheelers can go. Other people are adjusting with the four wheelers in between. Bike riders, cycle riders, even pedestrians are along with moving like all fishes in the ocean. In our highways are like that. It's not. This highways should be upgraded into 8-lane highways. Uh, with modern, ultra modern facilities. That and for that we need more investment. Definitely, government will do it. And that instead of this Vande Mataram train, I would like to generally I would like to suggest to the government that the government should go for introduction of bullet train program, because at least let the people feel proud of the country. We people should feel proud of our country. We have this scheme, we have this scheme, have this scheme, something like that. For at least announcement we expected from the budget, but it's not happened. So these are the things. Just I want to share with you. Sorry, I did not present a budget of what Nirmala Sitharaman presented, because I don't want the repetition of that presentation. I'm just interpret as an economist what we expected from the budget. How much she fulfilled our aspirations, our requirements, and how to overcome poverty, inequality, and how to overcome our infrastructural bottlenecks and our educational bottlenecks. Uh, that's what I shared with you, and now we can have an interaction. You are most welcome to have discussion. Yes, I also want to get your ideas, opinions regarding our budget. With this, I am very much thankful to the management for giving this very good opportunity. I'm very much thankful to Father Andrews and Sister Rosie and all my faculty friends in Economics College. for having given me this very opportunity and any interactions, questions, let us have it. I mean, so that we can share it. Thank you for the opportunity to the organizing committee. My friend, Jean Maria Jones. Thank you, sister. Thank you,
Thank
one
you,
and all.
sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful session.
Thank you,
Now we
Parvati.
start
Thank
with the
you. Yes, yes.
now we start with the discussion round. All are requested to unmute their mics before they speak. You are requested to make use of this opportunity to share your thoughts, questions, and queries regarding the budget session with sir. Thank you.
But the outside,
Yes, sir. Where, sir? Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
good morning, Professor. Congratulations
Yes.
for your very comprehensive presentation about the budget of 2022, and also you have interpreted on your own way to how the economy can be overcome from the chronic issues of poverty and inequality. I appreciate your efforts that you have taken to present a very the presentation is very lucid and also very informative one. And you have suggested with regard to the increasing the employment opportunity and also to create a proud of the country like you want the government of India should go for a bullet train.
We are,
Uh,
you also.
of course, I have some differences with this kind of program. Of course, there is no doubt in it. When the country have a bullet train provision means it is a really a good sign of developed country. Okay, but at the same time, in India, we have a large segment of the people are even now they are depriving their basic amenities, and even for day-to-day livelihood security is become a threat. This budget also totally has neglected the livelihood security of the larger segment like the labor classes, below middle class agricultural laborers, and agriculture sector also was not been fully supported by this budget. So how can this kind of by going through the bullet train program, in what way it would address this kind of issues of the people, large gathering of people will be addressed? No, in your this budget
Yes, sir.
has totally. You all know very well that this budget has reduced 25,000 crores for MDEGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program. As you know very well that during this pandemic period, the agriculture sector has very much affected. The NREGA, that is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program alone has served as a tool for the livelihood security of the nearly 40 to 45% of the people. But unfortunately, this government has totally neglected the sizable allotment has been reduced when compared to the previous budget. Then how this will be called as a pro poor people oriented or a pro people oriented budget? I don't know to what extent it will be helpful for the people who are depending on agriculture and other rural development
No, I mean,
activities.
that is the pro.
That is number one. Number two, of course, infrastructure is a very big important one. Um, Day by day, we are experiencing. But the in the name of infrastructure, who are going to gain? You know, as Professor Arunachalam is knows fully well that the corporate people they wanted to shift their products from one corner to another corner in a very fast mover, for which only we are laying. The governments are laying 4 lanes and 8 lanes and broadening of ports, broadening of airports, everything is meant for only corporates, not for the common people. So, to what extent this budget is going to help for the common people instead of corporate people? And also, the many economist people have been advocating that this budget is a growth oriented. Good, very good. It is a growth oriented. But whose growth? Whether it is a corporate's growth or common man growth. And also, the some economists is very honestly saying that it is a long It is a long-term oriented project. It is very good. Long-term project is good. Long-term budget, but whose long-term development? Again, I'm coming to the same question. But whose long-term development? Whether it is a corporate long-term development or common people long-term development. So these things to be taken into account in a right perspective. And we must appreciate at the same time whatever the efforts have taken in the form of infrastructure development and other things is welcome feature. But at the same time, what is the fruitful things which are available in the budget for a common people, for agricultural development, for a industry, day-to-day industry related people. For example, people are the middle class or below middle class. Everybody is using the umbrella, but this budget has lay taxes on umbrella, whereas the import of diamonds has been reduced to tax rate 5%. So you can understand through which the government direction. So in which direction the government wants to protect.
How many
You can
umbrellas
understand
you are going
process.
to buy?
You
How
can
many
understand.
umbrellas you are going to buy?
That is different. But common man using 136 crore people are doing 32 crore people are using every day. At least 50 crore people are enjoying. But you wanted to impose taxes on the common man using the product, whereas the elite people which are going to enjoy in importing of diamonds, for which the government is reducing taxes. What is the rationale behind it? So what I am suggesting, these are my observation. Of course, the observation may be vary from person to person.
No, no,
Anyhow,
no,
anyhow,
economists should come with, your observation regarding our, economy. Then yes, that will, help to make some changes in our policy programs. If we keep on silent, and automatically, nobody will, react. We have to, economists should react in such a way that, we have to suggest the right things to the government. Suppose
that is
for
why I am
your point of
suggesting.
view, and
So that is why
yeah,
I'm just
so
I wanted to remind you, instead of suggesting to government to go for a bullet train, let us work for the government should lay a very comprehensive, balanced program for the farmers to get a remunerative prices for the agricultural producers. I think 2 days back, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has suggested the small farmers has to be protected, etc. Everything is okay. But what happened to the
yes,
last three farm laws were totally against, totally against it, for which they have some, I can say, some lakhs of farmers have agitated over the year, but the government is able to understand only after 1 year of agitation, after lasting nearly 700 to 800 farmers have lost their life because of to get their privileges, to get their rights, to get their remunerative prices for their producers. So these kind of things has to be properly suggested to the government to go for, yeah, of course the government can go for a pro-rich people policies, nothing wrong in it. But at the same time, you should not affect the policy should not be affected the livelihood security of the common people. This is my view. Anyhow, I
yes,
appreciate the
agree.
Professor Arunachalam sir's comprehensive view with reference to the budget 2022, and I congratulations to Professor Arunachalam sir,
No,
and
no,
I must thank the college, Madam Sister, for having given me an opportunity to share my some random thoughts. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
no, no. We in India, we economists should express our concerns. To the government to make appropriate, policy decisions. And your views are, well taken. No, I
It is
tell you,
not
sir. I tell
only.
you the no. I tell you
Brother,
how.
for one thing, the Kerala government
Yes.
has expected Silver Line project to be named in the budget 2022. I think last two
Uh,
days back, the finance minister of Kerala, Thomas has worried much about. Even the Kerala's view has totally neglected. At least it should have been incorporated in the budget text itself. So similarly, Tamil Nadu has requested, Andhra has requested. So once you neglect all the state people wishes, and you are giving higher priority
no,
to a
no,
handful of corporate elites.
no, no, every state government, now has the right to avail around 1 lakh crores of money. Without rate of without any interest, for 50 years to make, I mean, investment on infrastructure development.
Yeah, good, very good, Professor. Professor, what I am suggesting you, the government has to give their due share from the GST. Instead, you are suggesting government to go for borrowing. Is it a correct way? The
No, no,
states are trying to get their due share
no,
from the GST. Government is
yes,
not ready to share their resources, but whereas it
no,
is giving opportunity, you can go and borrow 1 lakh crores. Is it correct?
no, no, tax distribution for other, for all areas, but
Yeah.
this for infrastructure development alone, even this 1 lakh, I mean, crore has been earmarked for each state. I mean, they
No,
can invest
with the conditions. With the
yeah,
conditions. With the conditions. Many states have
yes,
already requested you remove the conditions, but the center is very firm that the condition will provide. Then how can you able to get money?
no condition. The condition means that we have to create emblem opportunities. This money should be utilized in the infrastructure sector. So that, I mean, otherwise, what will happen? I mean, government repay their money they borrowed. They can avail this loan and repay the money to, I mean, money they've already borrowed. Then that will become useless for the, I mean, for the common people. Just why central government, I mean, came with a condition that this money should be utilized only for infrastructure development, so that more employment opportunities will be created. Sir, and sir, I mean, Nehru sir, one more aspect I'm coming regarding
Yeah,
the
please.
everywhere talking about agriculture, farmers, agriculture. Last 75 years we are talking about agriculture only. But what are the advantage? What advantages the farmers got last 75 years? I mean,
Brother, for your kind
what happened?
information, when we attain
No, no, what
independence,
happened?
we may import the food grains from abroad. You please understand. When we attain independence, we import food grains from abroad in order to feed 36 crores. Now India has become a self-sufficient food grain producer. It is a exporter, one of the largest exporter of food grain to international, the international different countries. So the agriculture sector has transformed to a larger extent. But what is the problem? What is the problem? Because of the new economic policies after 1991, the the what I can say, the Indian economy has been thrown open to the global economy, and thereby the developed countries they are providing large subsidies, and they exported their surplus of production into different countries, including India, and thereby the Indian farmers are not able to compete with the global farmers, and the Indian farmers are not able to compete with the global exporters. This is the problem. This is the problem for Indian agriculture. So this has to be
No, no,
addressed.
I tell you,
Hmm.
every year we are providing very huge amount of money for credit facility, farm credit facilities. But one important, I mean, point I want to share with you, in 2017, I mean, there was a study by NABARD.
Hmm.
80% of the credit, I mean, supposed to go to the farmers, landed in Mumbai city. Landed in Mumbai city, and
Hmm.
it was a surprise for NABARD. How, I
Hmm.
mean, a city which Mumbai city which has no, I mean, farmland, people are not also involved in farm activities. How this much credit landed in Mumbai city, and the NABARD found that the people who availed the farm credit loans are middlemen who involved in agribusiness. Then, as it was said that we have to allot more money for agriculture sector, we have to allot more money for credit facility. Automatically, that will not reach the farmers. That will be availed by the people involved in the agribusiness. That's what happening in India. So that's why now present government decided that forget about those type of, I mean, simply, I mean, telling unwanted, I mean, credit facilities. We have to have a direct, we have to let the farmers join together. For that, government, I mean, ready to provide whatever, I mean, needed for them, road facilities, storage facilities, and marketing facilities, air conditioner, container facilities. They all have that system in our person. A value chain will be created in the rural areas by investing the rural area, not, instead of giving directly earlier what we used to do. I mean, what we claimed earlier, that no way helped the farmers. One more thing I can tell you. I mean, Nehru sir, since you are from the Kaveri area, there are, I mean, there are large number of farmers. Whenever there is a flood, whenever there was a rain, their farm, everything been affected. They're standing crying. And then what happened to our farm, I mean, insurance program in India? What about I mean, I mean, even the procurement time also I have seen. I mean, farmers are standing on the roadside with their paddy. What happened to I mean, the procurement agencies? Where what about the storage facilities for them? I mean, these are all. I mean, in the name of farmers, some group of people. I mean, enjoying. I mean, are taking away the money. The real
Yeah,
money is
that's correct.
not
That's
reaching.
correct.
That's
Ultimately, I
Sir,
am also wanted to say this one.
yeah,
Whatever you are pointing out, I fully agree with that. There are
yeah.
some failures are also there. Middlemen are also looting the common man money. That I also
yes.
understand. But that has to be corrected. That has
Two
to be
thirds,
corrected.
two
For
thirds
which
of money,
complete negligence is not a remedy.
two
Whatever
thirds
the
of the
good ones
money they
are
are
there.
taking. And one more example, I want to share with you, Professor. I mean, in Kerala, in Ernakulam only, if you go to the supermarket, hypermarket, I have seen one packet. I mean, of 250 grams of small onion, peeled onion, cleared onion that cost. I mean, 60 rupees. Just 250 grams of small onion within the plastic covers, 60 rupees. Suppose we convert that one into 1 kg, 240 kilograms.
Sir,
Yes, yes. But do you know how much?
sir,
I mean, yes, coming. But if you go to farmers in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra, or Karnataka, they're getting only 20 rupees per kg. But here, when they're converted into a value-added product, it is about, I mean, 240 rupees. Who are these? Who is taking the remaining money? By middlemen. For that, we have to find a solution, and the government is now addressing slowly for that. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Thank you for
sir,
your
sir,
valuable,
Yes.
sir, there is
valuable program.
actually lack of time and many other
Please,
reasons we
please
are
proceed. Thank
trying
you.
to.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for the
Right.
opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Parvati,
Thank
tell
you,
me.
sir, for actively participating. Uh, Thank you, Arunachalam, sir, for
Yeah, thank
this
you, Parvati.
grateful time, grateful session. Now, I would like to invite Staff Coordinator, Mrs. Jean Maria George, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, to deliver the vote of thanks. Before that, I would like to remind every participant to fill the feedback form provided in the chat box to receive the certificate. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Parvati, can you hear me?
Yeah, Maria teacher is just, I mean, keep your video on.
Sir, actually, I am traveling, so that's why I have off my video. Anyway, happy to see this. So, let me come to my duty, sir. Respected Principal Sijoli and our discuss Sir P. Arunachal, CEO, Head of Department, uh, just participants and my dear students. So with great pleasure and mindful satisfaction, I'm here to thank everyone who made this day a very fruitful one. So thank our dear principal, Reverend Dr. Jolly Andrews, who is always with us in all our endeavors and encouragement. Thank you for your valuable presence and engaging words. We are really blessed to have such a renowned host for the day, Professor P. Arunachal, who discussed all details in a broader and deeper of the current subject. Sir, the session was informative and highly effective. That really took us to some very different level of thoughts. Economics department, all of us students are really very happy and very much privileged to be all you respected, sir. And on behalf of all, let me convey our sincere thanks, gratitude to you, sir, for your valuable presence and informative words. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria.
Now I'm very happy to thank our head of department, Mr. Rosie, for arranging such a very important event for us today. We thank you, sister, for all your efforts for for us. Thank you. Now I thank all the teachers of economics department who worked full energy to make this day. The teachers gave us for I thank Dr. Franco Francis sir, Dr. Shashi sir, Marinus, Dennis, for all the efforts to arrange the program. Thank you all. To dear participants, students, colleges, professors, colleagues from in and outside the seat, and all our dear students, it's thank all of you for gathering, spending your time with us. It's all our participation. The program will be participants. Once again, thank all of you. Thank you very much. Conjun sir, once again.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. I once again remind every participant to please fill the feedback form present in the chat box. With this, we are ending the session. Thank you so
Sir,
much for the
sir, is
participation
it
and
possible
cooperation of
to
all.
ask a question?
Yes, yes, Davish, welcome.
Yes, please.
Okay, sir. I'm from third DC Economics, Christ, and sir, you are talking about the importance of infrastructure development in India. So, taking a parallel from Nazi Germany during World War II, what are some of the mistakes India could possibly avoid in regards to deficit financing and providing employment opportunities after uh, investing in various infrastructure projects?
What is which? Just finally tell me what is.
So, sir, I was just wondering that what are some of the possible mistakes that India could avoid, like taking a case study from the Nazi Germany, where they had, uh, given a lot of infrastructure investments and try to boost their economy with state-sponsored employment opportunities.
No, no. Whenever I mean infrastructure development is boosted automatically, that will activate all the sectors. For example, cement industry will be activated, steel industry will be activated, iron industry will be activated, plastic industry will be activated, whatever may be. And if for simple example, I can tell you. Suppose if we take the case of Silver Line program. Suppose that program is, implemented. In case I'm telling that if there's no problem if that is implemented, you see that cement is needed, steel is needed. Iron is needed, plastic items needed, stone is needed, quarry. Sand also needed. Then all these industries will be activated, and that those industries will create employment opportunities for our engineers. And civil engineers will get employment opportunity, mechanical engineer will get employment opportunity. Electrical electronics engineers will get employment opportunity, polymer science engineers will get employment opportunity. Even in addition to employment, graduates will get employment opportunities in the office section. Automatically this type of the heavy investment always create more employment opportunity because other industries are linked with the investment. Uh, and later on, that is why we have to go for massive investment on infrastructure development. That happened during the immediately after Second World War period in Western European countries, and even without worrying about the fiscal deficit, they invest very huge amount of money borrowing from World Bank, even borrowing money from IMF. That is why. Western European countries are having now all the record for, infrastructure facility, top class, world class facility. They are availing money from that areas, and that's why I told that now state governments is eligible to withdraw around 1 lakh crores of money from central fund, but they can borrow that money without paying any rate of interest. That duration of repaying that money for 50 years, that 1 lakh crore can be invested on any of the infrastructure. Even Silver Line project, Kerala government can spend it, or even port development can spend it, or any other roads. Widening of the roads, or development of park, or even whatever may only for infrastructural areas they have to invest the money. So that world class infrastructural facilities will be created for the people. That automatically that will create employment opportunities.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you everyone for joining this session.
Sister,
We
thank you.
request you again to fill the feedback form.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sister. Rango.
Hello, Arunachalam sir. Thank you very much. You have
Thank
done
you.
very. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sister. Thank you, please. Thank you. അപ്പൊ കാണാം.
പ്രജീഷിനെ വിളിക്കുമോ ഓഫാക്കാൻ? ആ മിസ്സേ കാറ് ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. ശബ്ദം വിട്ടുവിട്ടാ കേട്ടായിരുന്നു.
ശബ്ദം വിട്ടുവിട്ട് കേൾക്കില്ല, ഒന്നും കേട്ടിരുന്നില്ല.
ഞാൻ പിന്നെ ഇനി അതിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ വീണ്ടും പറയിപ്പിക്കണ്ടല്ലോ എന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ട്.
ആ കഴിഞ്ഞു കേട്ടോ. അവസാനിച്ചു.
നിർത്തിച്ചു.
പ്രോഗ്രാം കഴിഞ്ഞേ. ഓക്കെ.
സിസ്റ്റർ ലീവ് ചെയ്യട്ടെ ഞാൻ.